Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với chương trình Nhà lãnh đạo doanh nghiệp với ông Ganesan, tổng giám đốc của công ty Nestlé Việt Nam. Welcome back. Your job is a very pretty straightforward job you've got. What do you do for fun?
Okay. I'm blessed. My job is my hobby. I like what I do and I enjoy it. Like every other job, there's pressures in it, but work gives me a lot of satisfaction. I like to say work hard and have fun. So on the work front, and in particular, if we are successful and if the company is winning, then I would say that generates a lot of excitement and fun for me. On the more leisurely side of things, I like football. I'm not a big player anymore, but I enjoy watching it. I like traveling. I like music.
You like football, but are you a footballer?
I quite honestly say I'm not a good footballer, but I did play futsal a few times with our staff and also a few national players for fun. But other than that, I like to watch it more than play it.
Nestlé Vietnam has the football team.
We have had a few football tournaments, so to speak. Where among the staff, and like I said, I did participate a little bit. So football is well liked in Nestlé Vietnam as well.
Do you have any intention to sponsor for the football tournament?
Thank you for that question. Nestlé Vietnam, through Milo, which is one of our biggest brands, has been actively involved in grassroots football development, in particular for school kids and also outside Ho Chi Minh and in Ho Chi Minh City itself. So we've been involved in lots of local, small grassroots. We might not be sponsoring big tournaments, but tournaments which allow and encourage participation of younger members of the Vietnamese public is what we do quite often and almost on a continuous and regular basis. Football and also other non-football sports events.
So you mean your philosophy to promote school sport?
Nestlé, on a global basis, our tagline, so to speak, is good food, good life, and that manifests itself in the various brands. And sports development is basically championed by Milo. Milo has got extremely strong relationships with the Ministry of Education. In particular, Hoiko Fudong is a relationship that we have for many years. So we do lots of grassroots level in conjunction with local authorities in grassroots sports development.
In your interview, when you recruit the staff, do you have any question regarding sport?
Generally, we encourage people to have a multidisciplinary life, not only work and academics, but it's not a make or break in an interview. A person who's active in sports is also well recognized, but we encourage them to have a healthy, balanced life. So sports does give that.
Do you live here with your family?
I live in Vietnam alone. I am
single. You are happy. God bless you. I joke.
No
kidding.
worries,
yes.
I come from an extremely small family. There's only my mother and myself, and
yes.
I have no brothers and sisters. So my mother's in Malaysia, whom I visit very regularly. Otherwise, I very private, personal life in Ho Chi Minh. Yeah.
And you are? Do you often go to Malaysia? And
I do. Again,
every month, every 2 months.
Every month I go back home
yes.
because again, in a very blessed
because
situation.
now it's near.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
The flight very easy.
It's only 2 hours to go to KL. It's about the same time to go to Ho Chi Minh to Hanoi. So I go back home very regularly.
Did you got the Malaysia Airlines?
I always take Vietnamese Airlines now. Vietnam Airlines.
Why no Malaysia Airlines?
No, I do take both airlines, but the Vietnamese Airlines generally have better schedules for me to follow. So
do you often use the social network for promoting your business?
Well, I am for the business side of things on the company, on developing our brands and interacting with consumers. We do use social media, whether it's Facebook or other forms. On a personal basis, I limit my use of social media because I still prefer the old-fashioned way of having a conversation with someone one-to-one.
Yes.
I do WhatsApp quite a fair bit, but otherwise, this old-fashioned thing of having a cup of coffee with someone or a cup of Nescafe with someone, I still treasure that. It's not the quantity of relationships you have, it's the quality you have and with fewer people. But in communicating with our employees, we also use other forms of social media. But on a personal basis, like I said, I prefer to have one-to-one conversations.
You often to watch television?
I do.
To control to your commercial?
I do watch televisions and I also watch our commercials. But mostly right now, I like movies, which I don't watch on TV, but TV is a source for news for me. In the mornings, I watch all the news programs.
Okay. Do you encourage your marketing team to use the social network for promoting your business?
Absolutely. I think this is one of the big changes that's taking place. When I was much younger, TV was the main medium to reach. It was the era of the mass communication. Today, TV alone won't do. Television is important, but social media is also an avenue where we can interact with consumers. And in Vietnam, I must say the consumers are much more savvy than I expected. I think the Vietnamese consumers are digitally more developed than Malaysia. So in order to have meaningful relationships with our consumers, in order to have connectivity with our consumers, social media is a must. But also in that, having that relationship is the authenticity of our brands, the way we communicate. We need to be very personal in that sense. So that's something, it's a journey that we are still discovering, but social media in Vietnam is extremely important for us.
Do you like reading?
I do read a lot, not as much as I can or I should, but it's one of my other pleasures. I do read a lot, in particular news and business.
Yeah, I am reading the books about the biographies of the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Mr. Mahathir.
Right.
So I love it.
Right.
So you know him?
I had the opportunity through Nestlé to interact with him a few times. Dr. Mahathir, as he's known in Malaysia, has been instrumental in setting the right directions for Malaysia. I think he was very clear in putting a vision for Malaysia. A lot of big things happened in his time. Some are symbolic, like putting the Twin Towers, having the F1, which are all directional things for the company. But more importantly, I think the socio-economic development of Malaysia, and particularly economic development in Malaysia, the most rapid growths were happening during his time. And I think, I must say, we as a country are pretty grateful to have visionary leaders like that and providing the right environment for the country to prosper.
Yeah. Kính thưa quý vị vừa xem xong chương trình Nhà lãnh đạo doanh nghiệp với ông Ganesan, Tổng giám đốc của công ty Nestlé Việt Nam. Và câu chuyện của chúng tôi đến đây đã hết thời gian và chúng tôi mong mỏi được gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình khác. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes, very open talk.
Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure.